All right, we're going to talk about book titles today. If you're a coach or a consultant or an entrepreneur and you're thinking about writing a book and you're going to use that book to specifically drive revenue in your business or attract new customers or raise your status in the marketplace, the biggest single mistake that those types of authors make is they screw up their book titles. And I'm going to get into it right after this. So the big question is this: how is a tiny percentage of entrepreneurs blow the pack away? What are they doing that we're not? I asked myself that question for 10 years. I was failing forward and getting sick of it. I wanted to build a coaching business, but couldn't make any headway. So I started studying them. I realized that the world's most elite marketers, entrepreneurs, and gurus were all using the same 4-step system. I call it the authority factor. On the show, I'm going to prove to you that the authority factor worked for them and it'll work for you. My name is Ken Dunn. Let's get started. Hey, anyway, let's just jump right into it. I have helped over 3,000 authors to write and publish books. I've been doing this for over 15 years. And what I'm really proud of is the fact that I have spent a significant amount of time over the last 15 years studying books. I've talked to thousands of authors who have written books and launched them, and the books failed. I've talked to thousands of authors who have won. I've studied New York Times best-selling authors, every piece of the puzzle in why their books succeeded. And one of the biggest reasons that books fail or succeed is the title. And I want to kind of dig into what makes a great title and how you can design a title for your book that's going to change everything for you. Because the fact of the matter is, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And that's exactly what the title of a book is to you. Here's what you have to think about. When you write a book, that book is going to go out to the world. And if you're lucky, if you publish your book with the right publisher, and that publisher knows what they're doing, your book is going to end up in bookstores all over the planet. And in the best case scenario, listen carefully to this, your book is going to end up in a section in a bookstore or an online store with thousands of other books that are almost exactly the same content. Because every book's been written already. So if that's the case, and all you see is the spine of the book, and if somebody's walking through that section of the bookstore and they're looking for your book or a book like yours, and all they can see is the spine of the book, what do you think is going to make them pick up a book? It's the title, right? The title is what you see. The title is on the spine. So you've got to have a book that has the right title. So how do you name a book? How do you figure out, check this one out. How do you figure out, let me show you some really great books and you can figure it out. But for the listeners, I better tell you, this book says How to Write a Saleable Book in 10-Minute Bursts of Madness. This book has made me over $5 million. Listen to the title. How to Write a Saleable Book in 10-Minute Bursts of Madness. This book has made me over $1 million. It's called The Greatest Prospector in the World. This book has made this couple hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it just came out. It's called Your Best Golf Begins at 50. Let's take another look at this one. This book made this offer tens of millions of dollars. This book has sold over 1 million copies. It's been translated into 30 languages. It's been on the top of 10 different bestsellers lists, including the New York Times bestsellers list. Paris is equivalent to the New York Times bestseller list, and on and on. Listen to the title. How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds or Less. This book was written by one of my mentors and a really great guy. It's called .com Secrets. This book was written by a health coach who specializes in helping women over 60 to lose weight and have better lives. It's called Life Begins at 60. This book was written by a friend of mine who his whole goal is to help people learn how to launch incredibly successful offers online. It's called $100 million offers. What do all those book titles I just read to you and I just showed you have in common? Think about it for a second. I'll let you in on a little secret. They solve a problem. They outline a problem. Here's the big problem. This is why so many people write titles for their books and those books fail. It's because the title doesn't explain the help the book is going to give them. And I understand it, right? Like, you guys want to hear some dirty little secrets in the publishing industry? Every year in America, there are over 500,000 nonfiction self-help books published. Every year in America, there are over 500,000 nonfiction and self-help books published. Every year in America, 90% of those books never sell 100 copies. Think about that for a second. So 500,000, 90%. That's 450,000 books a year never sell 100 copies. Now, here's what fuels me every day. This is what keeps me going. I refuse to believe that those authors of those 450,000 failed books last year, I refuse to believe that they said, fuck the title. I'll just make the title whatever I want. I'm going to make the title that's something very special for me. And who cares if it makes my book fail? Because I want this title so bad. No. You know why that is? Remember I was telling you at the beginning of this show that I actually have spent a crazy amount of time in the last 10 years interviewing people whose books failed? And I asked them a whole bunch of questions, some directly, some indirectly, to really figure out what is the differentiator between people that write amazing books and people that write books that suck. And you know one of the most startling statistics I found in my research? Listen carefully to this, 90% of people who write nonfiction self-help books don't read books themselves. See, when I'm doing all this research, now it's extrapolated, right? Because I'm talking about the big market. I have interviewed 1,000 people who have written books that failed. And 90% of those people, I don't ask them, do you read books? Because they'd all say yes. I ask them a very specific question. How many books do you finish reading every year? And you know what they say? 2 or 3. Which means they really don't read at all. Because somebody who's a reader, they're going to read lots of books. So like, as an example, I'm reading these 3 books at the same time right now. I'm going to read them all in the next 2 weeks because I'm starting to write a book that's on this topic. I'm starting to write a book called Build Your Following. So I'm reading 3 books. One's called 1 Million Followers. Another one's called Expert Secrets. Another one's called Influencer. Because those are the 3 top books currently written in the space that my books are going to compete with. So I want to know how those books are laid out. If 90% of authors are saying that they're not readers and 90% of books that are published fail, do you see a connection there? Yes, that is the most obvious and correct thing for you to assume. How in the world do you know what a great book is if you don't read them yourself? If you don't read a lot of books? I've had a conversation with Russell Brunson, one of the top digital marketers in the world, about books, about the books he's written and the books he reads. Russell has read thousands of books. He's building a damn stinking library right now because he's read so many books and he believes so much in reading. That's the difference. And if you've read lots of books, then you've totally looked at lots of titles on books. And it makes all the difference in the world. So that's one of the biggest reasons. Now, don't worry. In the notes for this show, there's a link to a workshop that you can go to. It's a workshop that I've put online. It's only 20 minutes long. And you can actually learn how to write a book that will sell itself. There's a book structuring technique that I've noticed is the common structure for literally over 100 New York Times best-selling nonfiction books that I've studied. They're all structured the same way. How you lay out the chapters and the content in each chapter, it's explained in a 20-minute workshop video, and the link is in the notes to the show. I want you to check it out. Now let's get back to talking about titles. So when I look at the titles of all of these books that succeed, here's what I find. A really great title is going to have 2 elements to it. Number 1, a concrete element. That's the problem you're solving. That's the problem that you're getting the answer to. And the second is an abstract following or an abstract element. So a concrete element married with an abstract element. The concrete element is the problem personified or the problem explained. Your title has to tell people the help they're going to get. And this is how books become incredible bestsellers. So If you look at this book by Nicholas Boothman, it's called How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds or Less. Is there any doubt in your mind what this book is going to teach people? Right. How to make people like you. And that's a problem that a lot of people struggle with. That's the concrete part. If you read this book, you're going to learn how to get people to like you. The abstract part is in 90 seconds or less. Going back to Russell Brunson for a second, one of the things he's been teaching people for years is that if you want to create a product to sell online that's going to really sell, you have to present a new vehicle to people. What that means is a new way of doing something that they've tried to do before and failed. By positioning that thing you're selling as a new vehicle, it allows people to believe that it wasn't their fault, that things didn't go wrong before, and that they didn't get the answers they were looking for. That same ideal of a new vehicle should be in every book title. I'll give you another example. Russell's book, .com Secrets. Abstract and concrete. Let me explain. Concrete.com. That means this is a book about the internet, about online marketing. Secrets is abstract. That means this is a new vehicle. There are things that you know that are in this book that he knows that you don't know. So it increases the desire to grab the book. Here we go. Offers, $100 million offers by Alex Hormozi. $100 million. That's what everybody wants. That's the problem. That's raising revenue. That's getting revenue coming into your business. Offers. That's abstract. That means there's a secret to these $100 million revenue points that come through the offers. Are you getting the secret? Are you guys understanding this? Let me go back to one other book here that I talked about earlier. How to Write a Saleable Book in 10-Minute Bursts of Madness. This is a book that Nick Boothman wrote for our program, the Writing Madly Weekend program. So we have a program where we help people to write their books in a single weekend. So they use our structuring technique. And once they use our structuring technique and they get their book laid out, they can come to our writing weekend. It's 3 hours on Friday night, 8 hours on Saturday, and 6 hours on Sunday. And they only write for 5 hours during the weekend. They write 10 minutes at a time, and they write their entire books. They never write for more than 5 hours. And they typically get the first draft of their book done at the event, which is more than 20,000 words. This book has made me $5 million. How did it do that? It's because of the title. How to Write a Saleable Book. Everybody wants to write a saleable book in 10-minute bursts of madness. That means this system is going to actually teach you how to write your entire book, never writing for more than 10 minutes at a time. Concrete and abstract. I could go on and show you 100 different books that I've literally studied that all use the exact same techniques, that the titles are designed this way. If you want to write an amazing book, if you want your book to do well, then all you have to do is make sure that the book is written well. In order to figure out exactly how to write a book that's going to sell itself, that other people are going to recommend to other people, go to that writing workshop that's in this show's notes. Watch that workshop. I lay it all out there. When I do a workshop, my idea is I'm going to give you all the information so you could do it yourself. But my hunch is that some of you guys, when you watch that workshop, you're going to realize that if you write the book during our writing weekend, you're going to get it done faster. So you're willing to pay the couple $100 that we charge for the writing weekend because it helps you to get it done faster. But that workshop is going to show you how to do it yourself. And it freaking works. Now, today's talk was just about the title. Remember, a concrete and an abstract, it has to clearly articulate what the problem is. If you want some more tips or ideas, go to Amazon.com and search the subject of your book and look at what the top selling books are called. You're going to notice there's a concrete and abstract idea in the title, and the title explains the problem being solved. It's that simple. Hey, listen, if you like what you heard here, there's tons of videos and tons of shows that are all about writing amazing books, that are all about, writing books and publishing books and how to turn your books into courses, all kinds of stuff. All you have to do is subscribe to the show. So go ahead and subscribe to this show and make sure you become a regular attendee. If you liked the information in this video today, then please write a note below or give me a review. Give me some feedback so I know this is worth doing. If you want more videos on this subject of books, then you got to give me some feedback so I know it's worth doing these videos. In other videos in the near future, I'm going to be telling you how to outline your book, how to structure your book, what makes a book really readable, what makes a book a page turner. And I'm going to give you dozens of different techniques you can use to use your book to build a following, raise revenue in your business, and build a whole 7-figure coaching business. Remember, if you really want to know how to write a book, then click on that link in the notes and check out our writing workshop.